It runs! It's running! I smoked out the neighborhood! Woo! There we go. Hello, and welcome to Driven Diary episode 2. Now, we're actually filming a real episode this time, and I know the first one was sort of an excerpt from a Driven Network call. That was just to really set the stage for what Driven Diary is actually going to be, which is the documentation of my personal pursuit of excellence in business, fitness, and doing what I love, which for me is cars. I have the word driven tattooed right here, and it's really important to me to live my life according to the definition of that word, which is to be ambitious and goal-oriented and hardworking. That's not the exact definition. Usually I'd read it out verbatim, but that's all I got right now. So anyways, on that subject of business and cars, on today's episode, we're looking at, or we're sitting in, I should say, my 1989 Mercedes 420 SEL. This is a car that I bought out of a tow yard for $680. It wasn't running. It's got a little crash on the front end that I'll show you. And I bought it from a girl who couldn't afford to fix it, didn't know what was wrong, and had urgency to get it out of the tow yard as fast as possible so it didn't become a negative worth vehicle. So I got it running yesterday, which was 2 weeks after I bought it, so that's really exciting. And it's got 11 miles on it with me behind the wheel, but I really would just want to document this part of the process because, you know, I am very experienced in spending a lot of money on cars. And at this particular point, what I need to focus on is really investing every dollar that I have into business. And I still want to do car stuff on the side. You know, my business is in the automotive industry, so it makes sense for me to stay involved even at this grassroots level. So I bought this car on the cheap, and the plan is really to flip it and make money. And I'm in the process of doing that now, so I'm excited to bring you along in that process. Let me just tell a quick story about this car, just because I think a big part of why I love cars and why I love older cars especially is because they all have a story. Every car, if it could talk, could tell you so much amazing stuff that it's witnessed over, in this case, 161,000 miles, 33 years, 89. And it's very powerful to just think about that history of this car. So this car was sold new in Cincinnati in 1989, in October of that year, to a guy named Dean Scadden. He was a professor of economics, I think, and he's currently in University of Tennessee, so he's moved on since then. But he bought this car new, 1989, and he drove it for the first 8 years of its life. He then sold it to somebody named Pat Kiernan. Pat moved from Cincinnati to DC, to Maryland, to Colorado Springs, ultimately to San Rafael, California. With this car, it has maintenance records from every single one of those places along the way. And he drove it for the next, almost 20 years, I guess, until at least 2017, maybe even longer than that. But I have records up until 2017 for this car. At that time, it had about 100,000 miles on it, which means it's been driven a lot in the last few years. At that time, it was sold to somebody, and eventually, I don't know how many owners it went through between 2017 and the girl I bought it from, but there was a guy named Brett who was the last titled owner of this thing in 2021. And then I bought it from a girl who had bought it from Brett for $500 in June of 2022. It's now November. I bought it at the beginning of this month. And so I'm probably the 5th or 6th owner of this car. And if you look around in here, you know, this is an extra long wheelbase luxury sedan powered by a V8, super comfortable, super refined. And it's just so awesome to think about the life that this car has lived. It's still got the original license plate frames from the dealer that it was originally sold from. I've got oil change stickers in a few different places on the car. I've got a certificate from Daimler Benz. And, you know, this was a little bit of a process to get running, but fortunately not that bad. And I'll get into that process when we do a walk around of the car in a bit. But, you know, for me, I had to drive like an hour and a half to go buy this car. I'd been kind of fantasizing about doing a cheap car project like this for a while. And this opportunity finally popped up, and I'm really glad it did. So far I'm having an awesome time just getting my hands dirty, doing stuff I know I absolutely suck at. But it's all in the pursuit of getting better, making a little money, having fun, having a really good experience in the meantime. So let me take you around the outside of the car now. All right, so let me show you around this thing. We'll start at the front here. We've got, like I said, 1989 Mercedes Benz 420 SEL. Now, new, this thing was $60,000, and in 1989 dollars, converted to 2022, importantly late 2022 dollars, this is a $160,000 car. And it doesn't really look like it anymore because the last few owners have not treated it like a $160,000 car. So we'll start at the front here. We've got a nice little dent. I don't know exactly what happened here, but you got this bumper issue. Then the fender here is very much not happy. I don't even know how they managed to get a dent there and there, but not like this part of the bumper. But I've got a new bumper. This headlight trim here, there's actually usually a windshield wiper here, not windshield, but a headlight wiper here that's completely gone. And over here you can see like what it's supposed to look like. You've got a wiper grommet, the little hose. Over here that's gone. I'm not going to replace them just because somebody replaced the headlights on this thing, so the wipers wouldn't really even be compatible. But we've got a new fender, we've got a new bumper, we've got new headlight trim. That should clean up the front end of this car. Here, like I said, Cincinnati Dana Motors license plate, frame. Otherwise, I haven't washed it yet, so it certainly looks gross. Let's see, this side of the car is actually pretty clean. No dents that I could really see. Still got the original, I believe they're called 16-hole wheels. I like those quite a lot. I've already triggered the alarm even before it worked. So this anti-theft system, I had left the hood open and locked the doors, and so I opened the hood and it set off the alarm, which was kind of funny. Back here, not too much to report. You can see somebody once upon a time had some fights with other bumpers, and my thinking here is when I respray the whole bumper, I will make sure that those areas are filled in. Bit of a dent here also. License plate seems okay, but underneath the trunk doesn't seem to have fared as well. I don't exactly know how that happens. On this side, we've got the dent in the door. Don't really know how this happened also. Looks like somebody brushed up against them in a parking lot. But other than that, this side of the car, not too bad. I don't even know if the sunroof works, actually. That's important. And now that I'm actually looking a bit more closely, that is a big chunk out of that wheel. That's awful. I don't even think that's fixable, but somehow it's still holding air. Also, I love in this time period, you've got this antenna style thing for the radio. All right, inside looks actually pretty dang good. So we get in here. These seats are incredibly comfortable. You can see 161,000 miles there. What else? All these gauges work. The tach's kind of funny sometimes, but I actually really like this clock also. Just a super simple clock, matches the rest of the car. I like that. All original through here. Got some paperwork, but it doesn't include a title. That's going to be a fun little saga for this car. I do have some state California DMV paperwork here that we'll be able to work through. What else do I need to show you about this car? We've got really nice back seats. Let me show you these back seats. For me, so remember, I'm 6'8". These back seats are incredible. This seat in front of me here, all the way pushed back for my driving position, leaned back so I have headroom, and I fit back here. I mean, my knees do hit the seat, but like, I'm pretty dang comfortable. I don't know. I wouldn't really trade this for much. And if you think about this as like an Uber or like a Lincoln Town Car, Uber Black, something like that, it's pretty good. I guess I don't have a lot of headroom either. Headliner's a little saggy, but not too bad. So, let's talk about what got this car starting. So like I said, I bought it, it didn't run. It would crank, and it would like kinda try to start, but like really was not very close to starting here. Let me get the hood up. All right, so under the hood here, I'm already very familiar under the hood of this thing. So, fuel injection, 1989, happy about that. We've got, all I've done under here really is valve cover gaskets, oil change, and spark plugs. And that was all I had to do to clean this thing up and get it running. So, oil change, valve cover gaskets, and spark plugs. I don't even know how old the oil was, but it was super black. And then the spark plugs, I'll put a picture right in here. They were destroyed. They were absolutely awful. It was kind of hilarious, actually, how bad the spark plugs were. Other than that, not much. You know, the car stops fine, it accelerates okay. It does have a misfire that I will definitely need to figure out soon, because I don't want to keep driving it around with a terrible misfire like that. And then the very last thing that I will mention here, I haven't diagnosed this yet, but as you can see, I haven't even noticed this till now. This tire wear is hilarious. Like, this side of the tire, perfectly fine. This side, almost gone already. Now, that's because, along with this accident, something got tweaked underneath there. I don't exactly know what it was, but that needs fixing, because I'll put another picture in right here just showing you how we're looking when we're driving down the road, like where the steering wheel is. It's awful. It's not straight at all. But that's really it. That's all I got to show you on this thing. So I'll do another filming a little bit today, maybe, of putting the new bumper and new fender on. I'm generally not going to film myself actually working on cars or anything like that. This is more a channel about talking. But nevertheless, I'm super excited about this project, super excited about this little inventory I just gave you. And yeah, stay tuned for more. With that, hope everybody has a great rest of your day. Stay driven.